This little girl is just 14 years old, and she's on a group tour with other children of a New Orleans museum. Look at Kristhal, last seen wearing this long sleeve shirt with a little crop over it, cute as a button, long dark hair, brunette with the tips honey blonde. Look at her. She's wearing that jumpsuit you see her in. There's an earlier picture before her hair grew out. Big smile, beautiful girl. Where is Kristhal? And how in the hay does she get sex trafficked, the fear of police, from a local museum? Joining me in an all-star panel, but first I'm going to go to Lynn Shaw. Lynn is the founder and executive director of Lynn's Warriors, dedicated to ending sex trafficking, especially of children. You know what, Lynn, every time I have to go to the airport, which is a lot more than I want, there are big signs up that say, we're fighting sex trafficking. Right, but hey, it's still happening. Sex trafficking of children in particular occurs in big venues like airports, like stadiums, like museums, and it's literally happening right under our noses. We're right there when it happens, but nobody understands what they're seeing. Explain it.
That's the beauty of it, Nancy. The predators know this. Nobody's paying attention. For instance, one of the biggest trafficking sites, and nobody wants to believe this, are places like Great Adventure or Disney World, where you have a lot of families, a lot of kids. Kids are being exchanged in the restrooms. And also, people, it's dark, it's ugly. We have to face the reality. Most people say they don't want to get involved. They're afraid of being held accountable for something. So they just don't say anything. I can't tell you, Nancy, how many people have said to me, I saw something last year. I should have said something. I should have done something. So wherever there's chaos, crowds, lots of people, you can get away with all of this. But again, those you can hang all the signs you want in bus stations, and I see them all over the airports as well, and train stations. But you know what? Unless somebody can also identify and understand the protocol, like we have to teach Americans right now, these are the steps. This is a national crisis. So many kids are just disappearing right under our noses, as you said. We have to all be trained in what to do if you see or hear something, and also you will not be held accountable. Better to be safe than sorry.
Joining me, in addition to Lynn Shaw with Lynn's Warriors, is Dawn Schiller. Dawn is an expert in human trafficking, and I'd like to point out, is a former trafficking victim. Dawn Schiller, back her up. Explain what we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree with Lynn. Too many children, a lot of children are going missing these days, and nobody pays attention. We don't get the media exposure that it needs. There are too many to be playing these stories every day. They would be playing continuously over and over and over again if we kept up with them in the media. The truth is, the communities need to know what to do, and they need to be more aware.
Dawn Schiller joining us, expert in anti-trafficking and trafficking victim herself. Dawn, what happened in your case?
Well, in my case, I was a 15-year-old neighbor in the same apartment complex as the manager, and he also happened to be a 32-year-old porn actor who immediately saw me and started grooming me. And that's the process for a lot of these youth, is that you get groomed. He saw that I wasn't being protected by my father. My father was disabled. My father was a drug user. And so he stepped in and kind of took the place of my dad in a way that I built trust. And then slowly but surely, he groomed me into being his possession. And very soon after that, ended up selling me over and over again in multiple different ways.
How old were you, Dawn, when this happened?
I was 15 years old when I met him. And I would like to point out, too, that it's really difficult for people to see a teenager, 14, 15, 16 years old, as a child still. And very clearly, after years of therapy and not blaming myself for my own abuse